Welcome to Hard Beautiful Journey, where we embrace vulnerability as our superpower and let courage light our path. I'm Tiff Carson, here to share heartfelt stories of healing, grief, and resilience. Each week, I'll talk with guests from experts to everyday heroes about their journeys through adversity. Together, we'll uncover the beauty that emerges from life's challenges and how each experience can spark profound growth. Join us on this courageous journey of connection and transformation. Have you ever looked at a part of yourself, your voice, your body, your story, and thought, this is the thing that makes me unworthy. This is the thing that holds me back. I know I've been there, and I know many of you listening have too. But what if the part of you that you've spent your whole life trying to fix isn't something to fix at all? What if it's actually the very thing that's meant to set you free? Today, I'm sitting down with Tracey Napier, an intuitive life coach, speaker, and the author of the book, Get Changed. And I already feel that it's going to shift something for both of us. Tracey was born with a cleft palate, something that, for years, made her believe her voice was a barrier. But now she's using that same voice to help people unlock their truth, heal their pain, and reclaim their lives. I'm so curious to learn how she went from silence to speaking, from hiding to leading, and what she had to unlearn to step into her power. And I want you to be curious with me. So before we dive in, I'll ask you this. Is there something you've been calling a flaw that might actually be your calling? Let's get started. Welcome to the podcast, Tracey. How are you?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm doing well.
Thank you again for being willing to share your story on my podcast. You've been a coach, a speaker, a podcast host, and now an author. But before all of that, you were just a girl navigating life with a cleft palate and a big, bold spirit. Can you take us back to who you were before all of this healing work began and what shaped the woman that you are today?
Sure. Of course, growing up, I was extremely shy and insecure because of my voice. Kids would make fun of me, kids are kids, and adults, even today, make comments like, I can't understand a word you're saying, or you're going to have to speak up so I can hear you. And it really got into my spirit. I let it. I allowed it into my spirit. As a kid, you don't know any better. You have all these voices, coming at you, and you don't know who you are, and you don't know the truth from what other people are just saying. And I allowed it to sink in and define me. And I always held myself back. I was shy. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I literally taught myself not to speak unless spoken to. Even then, it was a yes or no answer if possible. I did not want to talk. I would have rather have been silent and alone than run the risk of being made fun of. And into my adulthood, I was really shy. I didn't know how to interact with people. My social skills were not that great. And over time, I just wanted to feel like I fit in and start talking to people more. And over time, I feel like I kind of overcame my shyness a little by little. But it really wasn't until my mom passed away in 2018 that I really made a major shift. I went on this journey of healing and self-discovery, and I really started digging into who I really was. And I realized that it was never my voice that limited me. Because I always felt, oh, I've just really been limited my entire life. My voice limits me. It's a barrier. It is what it is. But I realized doing that inner work and discovering what my beliefs were and who I was, that it was never my voice that limited me. It was my thoughts and beliefs about it that did. And that really shifted how I approach my life. And it's not like a light switch where all of a sudden, oh, I'm confident and I can use my voice with no issues. And it's a process. I still have fear today using my voice, but I am pushing through those fears. I feel the fear and I do it anyway.
Mhm.
And over this time period, another major milestone, I don't know if it's milestone is the right word, event, I guess, in my life was in December of 2022, I was laid off from my job. And I had been in corporate for 26 years and miserable for a lot of it. It
Mhm.
wasn't the right fit. And after the initial, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Which lasted maybe 15 minutes, I realized this is a blessing in disguise. Like, I know God is giving me the opportunity right now to take charge of my life and figure out what I want to do and be happy. Make the changes I want to make to be happy. And during this time, I had become a Reiki practitioner. And I started also doing this inner work. And I think between the two of those things, I started becoming really intuitive and psychic.
Mhm.
And I was being guided to write a book and to speak, to use my voice in various ways. But the number one thing was write a book. So like, okay, I'll write a book. And so I started writing this book. And about, I don't know, a few weeks into it, I was sleeping and I heard and I simultaneously saw Get Changed, How to Become the Master of Your Own Life. And I thought, "Oh, no." I knew that that was supposed to be the topic and the title of my book.
Mhm.
And I was along the same lines where I had started writing this book, it was along the same lines. And I thought, "Oh my gosh, I'm unemployed, still trying to figure out what I wanna be when I grow up, and you want me to write a book on mastering life? I'm pretty sure you have the wrong person." But I started writing this book and, I started with an outline and quickly realized an outline is not for me. So I felt just intuitively I was just right. So I wrote from beginning to end. And it wasn't until the very last chapter that I pulled everything together. The last chapter is called Step Into Your Power. And as I was writing it, I realized this whole book has been about learning how to step into your power. And that it wasn't just for the readers, it was just as much for me as it was for them. It was God saying, you need to learn how to step in your power. And the best way to learn is to teach, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so it was a challenge for me. And, I still get messages. I pull oracle cards, and sometimes I'll get the card and you'll step into your power.
Yeah,
Take
yeah.
your power back. But it was a lesson. And through that, I'm learning to trust myself and trust the divine, trust God, that I am on the right track and that I am meant to be using my voice in various ways and that it's okay to use my voice. It's safe. And I'm practicing using it. I call it practice. It's practicing getting through that fear and doing it anyway. So,
So let's talk about your book more, Get Changed. You talk about becoming the master of your own life. What's one belief or mindset shift that you wish every person could make, especially someone who feels stuck or not enough?
it's learning how to trust yourself and believe in yourself. And you do that, one way to do that is to start doing what you say you're gonna do. If you say, "I'm gonna go to the gym today," and you don't do it, that just proves that you can't trust yourself and that you don't have belief in yourself. So little micro actions when set the intention, okay, today I'm gonna write a chapter in my book or a paragraph, whatever it is. I'm gonna go to the store today and do this, or I'm gonna help my mom do this. Whatever you say you're gonna do, do it. Because even the littlest things add up to learning how to believe and trust in yourself.
Mm.
And when you do that, you actually learn how to become more calm. It calms your nervous system because you're not on high alert. You're like trusting, and it brings a sense of calm to you. So I would
Mhm.
say just learn to believe and trust in yourself, and of course, believe that you're worthy because you are.
Mhm. So you have said that your voice used to feel like a limitation for you, but now you use it to guide others to their power. What helped you shift that story, and when did you really realize that your voice was actually a gift, and when did you really start using it?
Within the past couple of years, ever since I got laid off, I have been on this journey. Once I got laid off, of course, I had more time to do the inner work. And, I'm still learning. It's a lifelong journey. I think a lot of people, when I tell people the name of my book, they're like, oh, I think there's a misconception about what mastery life means. A lot of people think, oh, your life is perfect. And, like, that's not what it is at all. Like, you still have challenges. It's about self development and going on this journey and learning about yourself and improving yourself. It's that constant evolution and learning and growing. And that's how you master your life. You keep learning and growing. And it's not about perfection. It's not about not having challenges. It's learning through them and
Mm.
growing through them.
Mhm. So you talk about getting laid off as one of the catalyst moments, I guess, for you. Was there any other specific moments or breakdowns or breakthroughs that pushed you into your personal development and the spiritual exploration? Because I know for me, in my spiritual awakening, I have had like one after the other, after the other, after the other, but it's how I'm moving through those now that's very different that I've since I've been on this healing journey. Is that the
Mhm.
same for you, or how did that look?
Yeah, so I get messages from my angels and guides. I don't know if you're intuitive as
Mhm,
well.
mhm,
Right, so yeah, so I get a lot of messages from angels and guides, primarily when I'm sleeping or early in the morning or during meditation. Right now, so I'm still developing it. An ongoing journey,
mhm.
but I get a lot of messages, and so I really listen to those. And a lot of them are really cryptic, and I don't know what they mean, and try to figure them out as best I can.
Yep.
But there have been messages that like terrify me. Like not too long ago, they're trying to guide me to be more present. And I'm working on being present. And it's hard. It's not something like, okay, I'll just be present today. And, it's the process. And when your nervous system is on high alert and has been on high alert for so long, it's hard to really calm it down. It takes time.
Mhm,
And so they're reminding me, like, be present is going to help you. And, so that has been really like, the messages I get sometimes are like, "I need your full attention." Do you know what full attention is? Or ask me full attention, like, "Oh, I know what you mean. Okay, I'm sorry." And I get messages like, "There's not much time left to do this," so it really keeps me on track,
mhm.
and, it
Sorry
terrifies
to
me at the same
interrupt
time.
you. Sorry to interrupt you, but how long did it take you to trust those messages and know that they are there to help and guide you?
You know, it was more about learning to trust myself. The messages I know are always for my highest good, and I've never doubted them. It was more of trusting myself and then trusting my interpretation of them.
Mm.
Because a lot of them are cryptic. Like, I don't know what that means. Like, what does it mean when I'm seeing myself wearing chaps in grocery cart. What does that mean? I don't know. So it's trusting the interpretation out of myself and taking the action. So
Mhm.
it's not really about trusting the message, it's me. And
Mhm.
it's an ongoing journey.
Mhm.
I'm learning to trust myself more because I am learning to do what I say I'm going to do, and it's
Mhm.
building that belief in myself. And so it's a process. It doesn't
Mhm.
happen overnight.
Yeah, for sure. I know on my journey, I have been doing some learning about somatic healing, breath
Mhm.
work, and how trauma gets stored in our bodies. Have you used breath work or energy work or movement in your healing journey to help release
Yeah.
what your words and your voice couldn't release?
Yes. I have a lot, like a lot of us, have a lot of stuck energy in my body. And there's several things that I have meditated on the question, how can I release this stuck energy from my body? I've done that a handful of times. And one time they showed me an image of me like dancing, like ah. Okay, I need to dance. Another time, they showed me the very end of the movie Dirty Dancing,
Mhm.
where Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze were like, her arm is on his shoulder, and they showed me that image of them walking down, like moving. Like, okay, I need to dance. Okay, clearly they want me to dance.
Yeah.
And another time, I heard squats, and
You
they
heard what?
two squats.
Oh, squats.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Doing, like, movement, the
Yeah,
hip.
yeah,
A
yep,
lot of a lot of us have it in our hips.
yep.
So doing squats, and
Mhm.
then I don't know the name of the yoga pose, but last week I had the image of me doing the yoga pose where you're leaning down on one knee and you kinda go up like this.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Sun salutation, maybe? I think.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
that
know.
was yeah.
So I've been doing that, and so movement is really, really important, and then stretching, like, I was doing yin yoga for a while, and then,
Mhm,
like, yin yoga isn't the only yoga, like, you need more movement, and so
mhm,
I do, yoga flow now, and then, tapping. Tapping
mm.
has been really important for me. I have a love-hate relationship with caffeine. I absolutely love what it can do for me, but I hate doing it, so I hate hitting myself. Sometimes I'll tap on my frustration with having to do tapping. I hate tapping. I hate
And you
it.
find it releases your frustration of tapping?
It does a bit. It does a little bit.
Well,
But it
that's
is really helpful to do tapping. So I've been guided to do tapping. It's really important for me to kind of get my energy and stuff. And I'm a Reiki practitioner.
mhm, mhm.
And so I give myself Reiki every night before I go to bed. And it knocks me out like that.
Yeah.
And it really shifts my energy. And sometimes I'll do it during the day, but it makes me a little tired. So I've
Mhm.
been doing it more at night.
So, I know I've had other guests on that have spoken of Reiki, but if someone were listening who knows nothing about Reiki, what does that do, and how do you help someone with Reiki?
Yeah, so it really balances out your energy field. It's life force energy, it flows through and it's healing. And it goes to where your body needs it. And it restores balance in your energy field. And I tend to focus on my chakras.
Mhm,
And I volunteered at a hospital to give Reiki to patients.
mhm,
And in California, you can't charge for Reiki unless you're like a massage therapist.
mhm,
And I'm not. So I was just volunteered to give Reiki. The patients loved it. It helped with their pain. It helped them with their anxiety. It's great for anxiety and stress. It
mhm,
just provides a sense of calm,
mhm,
and it really balances you out, and it opens you up. I really believe that Reiki is a large part of how I became psychic, and
mhm.
that and just the inner work of releasing your fears and doubts.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question about fulfilling life and what
Hmm.
that means to you now. And what are some of your non negotiables that you have had to put protection in place to keep that fulfilling life, especially right now in this new season of your life of leadership and purpose?
Yeah. Yeah. So I am, on a journey to this fulfilling life. I am so much happier now than when I was in corporate. And what's non negotiable for me is going back to corporate. That's not going to happen.
Mhm.
I'd rather struggle financially than to go back to corporate because I know that I'm on the right path and to fulfilling my purpose. And it's important to me to fulfill my purpose. And so I am doing what I need to do that. So non negotiable, not going back to corporate and really focusing on what I want and not what I don't want. And that's hard to do.
It is
I
hard to
think a
do.
lot of us, yeah,
Mhm.
right, we naturally think the worst or have all these fearful thoughts, and so it's shifting out of that to focusing on what I want. And I've been guided time after time to use visualization. Like visualize the future you want. Feel it as if it's already happened. Because you need your energy in your body to feel that its frequency and the vibration. And what you vibrate is what you're going to attract. So when you vibrate fear, then you're going to attract what you're fearing the most.
Mhm.
And so it's so much easier said than done. But I am using that visualization to attract what I want in my life. And, it's a process. And I'm
Mhm.
still on this journey.
Mhm. What practices are you using to stay grounded and connected to your truth? I know for me, I have to be in nature. That is just non-negotiable for me. I have to
Yeah.
get outside or be by water or touch
Yeah.
a tree. What are your ways of staying grounded?
I go for walks. I have to walk. It gets my energy going. It clears my mind. And then movement. Stretching is really, really good for me. And then meditation. I'll just sit there and breath work and meditation. I do it together back to back. And I just sit there and try and just be present in the moment. Like I'm in this room. Be in this room right now. And be grateful. The gratitude is incredible, and it does powerful things to your body. It changes your frequency.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to get into this spacious state as much as possible.
So, can you remember? I often think of this for myself. So, my spiritual awakening, my knowing started around 2018. And I remember pre 2018 and after, and it's like night and day. Would you say that's the same experience for you and like you wouldn't even recognize that person anymore?
Yes, I am not at all the same person. From my dietary habits to my social habits. I used to drink a lot. I used to drink to excess, honestly. It was too much. And I consumed massive amounts of sugar. I watched a bunch of like crime shows and spent a lot of time watching TV that was kind of pointless.
Mhm.
And I was angry and bitter and I didn't realize I was miserable. I was negative. I was a complainer. I hated my job and I let everyone know about it who, lived in earshot. I hated my job. And now I have people tell me regularly, like, you have such good energy. Like, I love your energy. You're so calm. And so I'm a completely different person and still growing. I have
Mhm.
my moments where I'm frustrated or, do something or say something that I'm not proud of.
Mhm.
But I am night and day difference between who I am now and even just a few years ago. Even right before I got laid off my job, these past couple of years have been um, a time of tremendous growth.
Mhm. And I think it's when people see that growth in you, in me, in all the other people that are doing this healing work, and that it's showing them that, okay, like they saw us before and how we were,
Yeah,
right? And now how our energy feels. And maybe that will inspire them to do the same inner work and inner healing. So if
Mhm.
someone is listening right now and still feels like we did, or like their voice or body or their story is too different or too broken, what would you want them to know today?
I would really take a hard look at your beliefs because what you were told growing up is probably not what you truly believe today if you gave it some thought. And I think you will find that you are much stronger and courageous and worthy than you probably believe you are now. So digging into that is really important and helpful in creating a more harmonious state within you and to bring more joy into your life and peace and balance. So I
Mhm.
would just encourage doing that work because you deserve it. We all do.
Mhm. So let's talk about your coaching work, your speaking, your podcast, and your book. Let's get into all of that. So, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with your coaching? What do you do to help people?
Sure, yeah. So this journey is all new. So I haven't been doing it for years. It is new. But I am helping women specifically to change the way they think about themselves and to really learn to love themselves and believe that they're worthy. And I get people tell me all the time, you need to niche down, you need to be more specific. I'm like, well, that's what I'm being guided to do, and that's what I know how to do. So that's what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And so it's really just helping women shift their perspective about how they think about themselves.
Mhm. And
So
then speaking, so I know for me, I did my first keynotes last year and I was terrified.
mm,
Was it the same for you?
yes, yeah. And so I'm still, like I said, I'm still in the beginning stages. I did one, I talked about 2 weeks ago, and
Mhm.
I was terrified. It's a 20-minute talk, and I
Mhm.
was terrified. And it was a practice talk, and it was my first time doing it, and so I looked at my notes more than I wanted to, but it was a really good practice because it every time you speak, you learn and you grow and you get good feedback, and overall, it was a really good experience. But yes, I was terrified, but I got through
You
it.
congrats on that because not
Yeah.
everybody would put themselves in that situation, and I know how hard it is, so big congrats for doing that hard thing.
Thank you.
So I know you also have a presence on YouTube and TikTok. Do you wanna talk about what people could find there, on those channels?
I'm a small little following, but I do oracle card readings, and then I have my podcast. I'm calling it a podcast. I started it about a year ago when I was guided to start using my voice, and they recommended podcasts. And so I started it to get more comfortable with solo episodes. And I didn't do that many of them, but now I'm actually revamping my podcast and doing a more traditional interview style podcast.
Mhm,
And so it's going to be on YouTube and other platforms as well. And so that's coming up. But right now, YouTube has my like older videos and then my oracle card readings.
mm,
And then TikTok, I'll do my oracle card readings. And yeah, that's primarily, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but I don't really post a whole lot there.
mhm.
But yeah, TikTok and YouTube is where I primarily focus.
So this is so funny because in 2019, when I started, like, uh, really listening and being like, "Did I just hear that? Did they what? I just heard start a podcast in my head. I thought it was in my head, and then I kept hearing it. And I'm like, "No." I I'm an introvert to the extreme, thank you very much. Like, you're no. And I didn't listen and take action until middle of 2020. So I am stubborn. And I was just like, "Uh-uh." You are crazy. And so it's interesting that you also are getting that nudge to start a podcast. And you can't see it on the back of my wall, but it says use your voice. And they told me that that's what I need to say is use your
Right.
voice. So people, if you're getting the nudges, you need to listen because they are there to help and guide us do what we are meant to do and help other people. So
Absolutely.
if you want to get in touch with Tracey, this is where you can find her in all of these places on her website, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. And all of these links will be in the show notes. So before I end every interview, I always ask my guest what they are grateful for because there is always something to be grateful for. What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for this journey that I'm on and just God allowing me and giving me this opportunity to learn and grow and to use my voice. I know that He's, given me so much mercy on this journey, and I am so grateful for it. Mm.
Thank you so much, Tracey, for just the beautiful reminder that our perceived limitations are often our biggest teachers and our greatest bridges to connecting with others. And to everyone that is listening, take a breath right now and ask yourself, what if the thing that I've been hiding is the very thing that could help someone else heal? And let that question sit with you and let it stir something in you. And if today's conversation brought that little whisper of possibility into your heart, come join us in the Hard Beautiful Journey community on Facebook. It's a place where stories like Tracey's are not just celebrated, but they are held, and you don't have to do it alone. And if you want to explore more, check out Tracey's book and all of her other wonderful offerings at traceynapier.com and on all of the socials that will be in the show notes. You can also join me for the Healing Heart Journey, my signature framework to help you move from heartbreak to wholeness. And you can learn more on tiffcarson.com. Until next time, keep breathing and keep taking care of yourself. Thank you again, Tracey, for being here. I truly appreciate you sharing your journey with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful.
Thank you. Thanks for being here for this episode of Hard Beautiful Journey. I hope today's episode inspired you to embrace your own vulnerabilities and recognize the strength within you. Remember, every story of resilience adds to the beauty of our shared journey. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and leave a review. Your support helps me spread hope and healing to even more listeners. Until next time, keep shining your light and embracing the beauty in your journey. Bye-bye.